Welcome to the top where we talk all things hip hop. It's your boy Red Eye AV with my homie JB.
Yes, sir.
We back in the house
Yep.
to cause trouble,
All
to
right.
cause a ruckus,
All right.
to get people riled up about something that I've been wanting to talk to you on camera with for a while.
Okay.
So we've had conversations a lot,
Okay.
and I have like a lot of, if you can't tell, I have a lot of rap debates with just a wide spectrum of people. One of the biggest things that comes up is white rappers or white rappers.
Okay.
I don't know how else to put it.
Okay.
I'll preface this.
Mm-hmm.
I like white rappers. I have some white rappers I rock with heavy.
Okay.
Shout out Andy Mineo. Shout out.
Like you said, Marcus.
I shout out Andy Milonakis. Shout out Lonely Island. Shout out, there's some people that I rock with, but I think in regards when we start talking about and then everybody has their freedom to express themselves.
It's art.
It's art. Now, when we talk about elite, when we talk about top of the top,
See where this is going.
this is where it gets a little troubling. Trouble, right? One of the things that I always hear is people putting Eminem in their top five.
Exactly.
You have an opinion. Right. You're entitled to that opinion. Your opinion could also be wrong.
Exactly.
I'm here to tell you that
there we go.
At the top, at the Takeover Podcast, we are willing to call you out on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But what I want to do, and especially when there's so much, just a vast variety of just music that exists. Let's start with this. What is the big deal with white rappers?
Okay. When you ask that, what you trying to get at here?
Well, I think is there a problem? Is there an issue? Is there a are they overrated? Are they underrated?
Okay. Well,
and we'll talk about why in a second. But do you feel like they're welcome in hip hop? Do you feel like they are appreciated? Do you feel like they're a little maybe more appreciated than kind of like the founding fathers of the culture? Like, where do you we're here to be honest.
All right, first, I'm gonna start this off by saying I'm not a racist. Let's get straight to this shit.
Me neither.
Listen. Okay, so there's a lot of ways to attack this. One, different rappers, different circumstances, right?
Without a doubt.
Okay, so some rappers suffer from cultural appropriating. Right?
Yeah.
That's not you. And then some rappers suffer from the fans cultural appropriating them, right?
Yeah.
So some people, how they giving it up is just like, nah, man.
Yeah.
I can't take this from you. I'm sorry. And sometimes it's actually the rapper's fans, and it's just to me, they only like them. It seems like for one reason.
Yeah.
And you catch what I'm saying. This country is 70% white, by the way.
Yeah. So like, so when we talk about the greatest white rapper of all time, Eminem,
Marshall Mathers.
That's without a doubt.
Yeah.
And and if he's in your top 10, I'm not mad at you.
Okay.
Top 5.
All right.
Talk about that.
So me, I'm probably I'm probably not the person to have the conversation. I think Eminem is trash.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is like, I think that what I'm getting at more so is the fact that what you just mentioned. This country is 70%
exactly. So the reason why Eminem, right? So some people actually think he's a phenomenal rapper. I think he's excellent rhyming words. Putting those words together, what synthesis is coming out of it, that's a different thing that I want to talk about, but that's cool. We're not going to go there right now. But for Eminem to have the sales gap as he have over, like if I ask somebody, Eminem, your number one favorite rapper, and your number two, let's say they say Jay, the difference in sales from Hove to M should not be what it is.
There we go. And I think that's kind of where that's where I want to kind of explore this conversation, right? So
worldwide diamond out. He has an album that sold 27 million copies.
And
he's not Michael Jackson, bro. He's not the Eagles, bro.
I think, my issue. I agree with you. My issue. I don't have an issue with rap rappers. Like I said, I have a couple of them that I actually admire heavily.
Right.
And I even think about, you think about growing up. I'll give them their flowers. I even think about growing up. I think growing up in Tennessee, we had dude Lil White, who had like he still does music now. I looked him up the other day, but he was rapping just like the 3-6 dudes. And like,
oh really? All right.
He doesn't look nothing like them dudes, but he was rapping just like the 3-6 dudes. And I think about your Paul Walls, and I think about your Bubba Sparks. I think about and there's many more
Beastie
Boys. Who I would argue their approach to music is a little true to themselves.
Right.
And even if they did sell, and even if like the color of their skin, their background was part of it, they always pay homage to the culture.
That's one thing. See, that's where I get it with.
Yes.
If you're gonna profit off this culture, gotta get back to this culture. You can't like use your privilege to make money off this art.
Right.
You can't also use your privilege like, I need to see you speaking up on certain matters.
Right. That's
you can't be one of those people to do this rap thing, and then when other conversations come up, oh, that's not my problem.
Yeah, and there are a few of them. There were a few of them that are like that. And I think even like recently, Post Malone was one of those dudes who was like part of that conversation, because it's like, you do what we do, bro. Mm-hmm. Like, you're good, you're talented, but you're doing what we do. You should act like you are part of doing what we do. And that is what it is. Like, I think you have a right to do whatever you want to do, but I think that, so there's part of it. In the case of folks like Eminem, you brought up the sales thing.
Yes.
The sales difference between people like Eminem, Outkast, Eminem, Jay-Z, Eminem, Drake, Eminem, and Drake.
Yeah, even Drake.
Biracial. But Eminem, Drake, like the sales difference. They do everything that Eminem can do, if not better, especially in Jay's case, better.
Right.
But the
gap is way.
The gap is different. Now, granted, like I said, the audience, we get it. 70, we know who's buying the records or whatever the case may be. But I think the part of people, that's the problem. That's part of the same problem. Because those numbers are so high, people equate that
to now he's the best rapper of all time.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll leave this. Go ahead.
Right. So the people that's buying these records are not people of the culture for the most part, right? I mean, we sell 27 million rap albums. Let's be honest. Come on.
Right.
Right. No, a lot of these people are not of the culture, so then you got all these people walking around, Eminem the greatest rapper of all time.
Yeah.
I got this hot take that if you polled Americans, right, what is the greatest rap song of all time?
There we go.
In my opinion, the number one song that'll pop up will be Eminem Lose Yourself. And that bothers me.
Yes.
That bothers me today. Because no, bro. Not that it's a bad song. Love the song. Not the greatest rap song of all time.
And the crazy thing is, with that is, I can't even blame Eminem for that. And again,
that's what I'm saying. Right. Yeah, right.
And I've talked about in other pods, I appreciate Eminem's early work.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with Recovery, the one that came out a few years back or whatever. After he left.
That's a need.
I wouldn't necessarily fault him directly. It's always the consumer's fault. But I think the problem with it is when we're talking about, when we get into old man rap and old man hip hop, when we start talking about top 5s and top 10s, and we start talking about like paying homage to the culture and stuff like that, it gets a little problematic when you start to say this guy has big numbers, therefore he's more talented. Right? Because that's even the thing with Drake, and I like Drake.
Mm-hmm.
But some people say Now, I just think he's more talented than other guys, but some people would say, yo, just because he sells more than Wale or J. Cole or Kendrick doesn't mean he's better.
Right.
You have that opinion.
Right.
And you're right. I shouldn't base his top 5 status solely off of his sales.
Mm-hmm.
What are they saying in the music? So I guess so we talked about these sliders, these attributes. And this could be an easy answer or a deeper answer. Do you feel like white rappers have an invisible slider, like attribute, like that they can kind of turn up and turn on?
I heard.
Like it could be a no too. Of course.
It's kind of weird because I think it all depends on the rapper again. Okay, because some I don't even know how to word this. Like, because I feel like some white rappers probably got to overwork. Because now that Eminem happened, before Eminem happened, like now that Eminem happened, now you got to try to be, because now it's like, oh, this dude just thinking Eminem, right? Now you got to work even harder to prove like that you can spit. So some people, they can spit some average, and because they white, it look hotter. Right. Some people can spit some heat because he white. It's like, he ain't my guy.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I think that's a good point, because when we think about the white rappers that exist or has existed, especially in the past 10 years, I think about Logic.
Mm-hmm. What's the guy now? Kentucky.
Oh, Jack Harlow.
Jack Harlow.
Who, yeah. When I think about these guys, and don't get me wrong, I don't hate Jack Harlow. I think I like some of his music.
Mm-hmm.
I like some of G-Eazy's music. I like some of Logic. I used to like some of Logic's music. He lose me somewhere in the content, like later on in the bit. But I think, I don't know. So I think it's interesting you bring up those guys, or you bring up that this handicap.
Right.
So not even a slider that helps them.
Oh yeah.
This is like a handicap that almost is like,
now
you can't just slide in now.
Exactly. I want to be fair. Yeah.
Yeah, which I think is a valid point, because I want to talk about it, because I think in that same notion that we talk about, like, there are people that are just as talented as Eminem but don't sell more because they're not white.
Right.
There is still, there's this thing where it's like, no, you white, all right, you got to show me something. Exactly. You can't just be white. Right?
Yeah, you gotta go crazy.
Right. But that's still, there are some people, like I think about Jack Harlow, who, again, I like.
Mm-hmm.
But that album was mid. I ain't gonna lie to
you. Yeah.
So if the singles is high and the album's mid, why do we like you? He's a young, he's
right.
A very young
okay,
artist.
So it's just like Jack. Because now I feel like he's one of the more, probably top 3 most popular rappers right now. Yeah. Like, not including like the K-Dots, the Drakes, right. And J. Cole.
He is.
I think it's like Baby.
He has the Drake cosign.
Right.
Actually, all those guys have the Drake cosign.
Like, why is Jack Harlow more popular than him?
Right. And yeah, I guess, which is very interesting, because
like I see like ESPN
if not more,
talking about Jack Harlow stuff. Where's the ESPN talking about Lil Baby,
who is like on fire right now?
Yeah,
or at least they should be mentioning.
Right.
So and we'll end it here or on this question, because again, I don't want nobody listening to this thinking that like we don't like white rappers. Like I said, I have plenty that I love.
I just don't like
that's in rotation. I don't have Eminem in my regular rotation. I don't.
Oh no, me either.
I don't. I can't tell you the last time I just drove around and just put on some M. Now, like I said, there's some guys I like.
It's never happened.
Right. There's some guys I like, and I'll shout them out just to be fair. Like there's, like I said, Andy Mineo, a favorite of mine, who is like an Eminem copycat, but he still can spit. And there are some other. I give it up to Jack Harlow, because when he turns it on, he can turn it on.
Yeah, no, he got some solid verses out there.
And there's a lot more, but. My last question is, are white rappers problematic to the hip hop culture? Is that even a fair question? Like, what do you think?
I think it is a fair question. I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't know the answer to these, man. I don't have a clue. What you got? What you think?
I think you mentioned some of this before, but I think cultural appropriation is real. I see it all the time on like TikTok. TikTok is great because it's like it's like all what we're talking about in real time.
Right.
So you'll see somebody do something flagrant and immediately get called out. Like like somebody will do something racially insensitive.
Yes.
Somebody will there was this one white girl who
I know where you going.
Flagrant.
It was like the dudes dancing.
Yes.
And she was like, "This ain't this."
Yeah, yeah. They and again, it is to be fair, she was just dancing. It's not like she meant to be racially insensitive.
Right. I think she considered herself an ally.
Yes, but in that same token, just like we talk about these guys, the Bubba Sparks, even the M's, like the M's will give it up. Like they'll say, "Yo, shout out to Dre, shout out to Jay, like these are greats." I don't think he would ever disrespect the culture in any way. Like I said, I think the problem with Eminem is not the Eminem, it's his fans. Mm-hmm. His fans who have kind of overinflated.
Right. It was like cool. He always Tretch.
Yep.
Method, Red.
Yeah,
he always gave mad prop. This is what comes to mind with me. Miley Cyrus. Random, but just stick with me. Miley Cyrus, Hannah Montana, cool. She out of here partying in the USA, cool. Then she got cold, right?
Yeah.
No TV shows, no music.
Mm-hmm.
She attached herself to hip hop culture, right? Yeah. Started twerking. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure if you poll most white people who would have been twerking, it's Miley Cyrus.
Right.
Blasphemous, bro.
Yeah.
But attached herself to hip hop, started working with
Mike Will,
right? Yeah. Stepping on my J's from random.
Yep.
And some random trash, right? Whole image change. She shot up. Next thing you know, I don't want to associate myself with hip hop no more. Like, no, your name only matters now because of hip hop.
Right, exactly. And I think that's the only time I have an issue.
Right.
So I don't think white rappers are problematic, but I do think that this is just coming from a black person. White people are problematic when there's cultural appropriation, where there's homage not paid. But this is like general stuff. Like this isn't just for hip hop. This is just for how we all should be, not appropriating different things. I remember, there's this, and I blame Wu-Tang for this, but there's this infinity for Asian culture.
Oh, now, Americans is appropriating.
For sure.
100% now. Yeah.
And now, mind you, it's in a smaller scale, of course, just by the nature of the
I don't think that's blasphemous, but yeah.
Right, that's what I'm saying. But I think, that's just a smaller example of why we got to be careful of how to not be... Being problematic doesn't have to do necessarily with just your skin color. It has to do with your actions. Mm-hmm. What do you do with your privilege? What do you do with where you're placed at? Do you lift other people up? You know what I mean? Again, shout out to Eminem, shout out to all these different guys who are like, yo, no, I know what got me here. I know what influenced me, and I'm gonna pay it back every bit. You know what I mean? I think that to answer that question, I don't know. I don't think white rappers are problematic. I think people are problematic when they're racially insensitive, when they're not culturally sensitive, and they kind of just treat hip hop as an accessory, like you said, that Miley Cyrus example. This is what I'm going to wear for a little bit, and now let me move on to my next bit. You know what I mean? But yeah. Any final thoughts?
I'm just gonna take some more shots. I think we good. Man.
Well, that's the end of this pod. Y'all stay smooth. Peace.